I thought you were going to ask me to talk about 1917. I remember it well. Robert Wallace was not quite the nice guy that everybody thought he was. He were classmates. And I'm just kidding, but it's a very serious topic. And as we heard from Representative McCarter, it was a wonderful comment. In 1917, I would ask that you remember these comments in 2017. You know, I only ran for office at age 66 because I want to make a difference. I want to keep the Commonwealth out of bankruptcy. I believe I have a moral, ethical, as well as a legal responsibility to honor the pension obligations of those who have already served the Commonwealth so well and our school districts. I have a tremendous respect and admiration for those that have taught. But in 1917, it was a humanitarian gesture to provide that benefit. And I would suggest to you by this modification that you see today, and I actually wanted something significantly more stringent than what has been proposed. But I'm going to recommend that we vote in favor of this bill because candidly, it gives us the opportunity to fight another day. When I look at all those people that worked with me at Luke and Steel that no longer have a pension because they were sold to Bethlehem Steel and their pension was turned over to the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation. But I looked at those people who were in the United Auto Workers who are now struggling to continue their pension benefits. When I look at the vast majority of 85 to 90% of Americans who don't actually have any type of pension plan, I think we ought to pause and realize that while we're asking people to contribute to pension plans for government, they themselves cannot contribute to their own pension plan. Please keep in mind the Social Security Administration published a report this year that said by the 2030s, 2032 to 2033, the Social Security Trust Fund for retirement is depleted and would have to be paid out of general fund. So those people that we are looking at to pay the pension will themselves be wondering whether they, in fact, will ever be able to retire. It's unconscionable that we can sit back and not realize the severity of our crisis. One other thing that I just have to say, in my years of travels, one of the things I did in the Marine Corps was economic warfare. We are perceived as the richest nation in the world, but don't delude yourselves. If you don't travel outside the United States often, you should see what's happened in other places. I don't for a second think that we should equate ourselves to Haiti and say we're not rich, because we are. We shouldn't say that compared to Sierra Leone that we're not rich, because we are. But the world has ignored the financial crisis for a long time. There's right now $7 trillion in the world that's at negative interest rates. That means in order to lend someone money, you have to pay them to lend them to you. As an economist, I can tell you that should scare you. When you consider some of the things that we're looking at today, the stock market is at its highest level, and we are still $75 billion unfunded. If I had my way of accounting for it with the expected earnings rate, you'd be showing a liability of $110 billion, not $75 billion. When the structure of a pension plan is allowed to go to 24 to 30 years, when in the commercial world I can't go beyond 20, that should tell you that are we deceiving ourselves for today so that those people that are in their 40s and 50s who are state workers and teachers will never know a retirement check because of what we have screwed up. When you consider some of the concerns that we have today, I would caution you, we need to deal in reality. I honor the opportunity to serve everyone, and I do trust in my colleagues. I really do. I was telling my wife, I've never yet met anyone on either side of the aisle that I don't genuinely like, I care about. But I lose sleep at night when I realize that there are people that are depending upon this pension, and I don't know if we can pay it. I do know that we have the financial wherewithal if we all sit down and work together to make that happen. But from a humanitarian gesture, think of that single mom, that single dad, that working family that's trying to make ends meet. They can't pay their property taxes. They can't pay the increased taxes that we're asking them to pay. Let's have compassion for one another, as I think we all do in different ways, and I know we do. But I'm going to ask you to vote yes for this. Allow us to live to fight another day. What I wanted to see was to convert immediately to a defined contribution plan. I recognize that that won't get signed, and I do realize as I'm getting a little bit of experience here that we have to deal with what we've done. I think the leader, the staff has done a tremendous job with the minority leader and staff in the governor's office and the Senate to try to make a reasonable conclusion. But I have to caution each and every one of you, look at what's going on in Puerto Rico. Look at what just happened in Illinois yesterday. Time is not on our side. Let's all roll up our sleeves and realize to be humanitarian to everyone in the Commonwealth requires that we all may need to take a sacrifice. Mr. Chairman, thank you.